What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Miss Terrell. Thank you for stopping by my channel, Esteemed Queen Mentality. Be sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell down below so that way you know when we have our tea talks. I know I look super amped. It's because I am. Today is election day, but at the same time, I'm trying to find an equilibrium in between like my anxiety, because in between these folks out here trying to make sure that every household votes, I'm mistaking their asses as bill collectors, and I don't like that shit. Real talk. I don't know where they do this at, but down here in North Kakalaki, they really think like, no. Like, I'm ready for all this shit to be over with and see what the fuck is going on. People tired of being broke. I'm tired of hearing people complain. And I'm tired of people knocking on my door. People been knocking on my door for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And mind you, these folks are just sitting here holding the flyer. Put it on the mailbox. Don't come to my house. Don't come to my house knocking on my door. Like, I'm just ready for all this shit to be over with. But neither here or there. Get your water, get your wine, get your tea, whatever it is that you sipping on, make sure you get it. I want to make sure that I say special thank you to everybody who has stopped by my secondary channel. The link is in my underneath my about tab, I think. So I just want to thank everybody for giving me a little bit of shouts out and views on that channel. But I want to come and tea talk with y'all about something I think is relatively important, because we typically do this a lot and we don't mean any harm. However, we don't know. So part of breaking like the virginity of like innocence at some point, I feel as if like you gotta have something, you know what I'm saying, pop that cherry. So I honestly feel in a spiritual realm, if people can follow with me, there's a difference between a friend and a partner. Like, we really need to tea talk about that. And the topic came up because one of my gatherings that I have with a couple of friends of mine, it actually came up in conversation. And it was rather interesting because though I had my point of view, everyone else had theirs. And I respect all of the queens' points of views because they made really good points. The only thing that separated me from the other girls that had their point of view was the fact of, I honestly believe that at some point there is a line that has to be crossed into that world in order for growth to continue. And the reason why I say that is because there's something different in my head about you picking up the phone and having someone to vent to versus you having someone that's there as a lifelong partner that you can depend on no matter what to talk to. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you having that BFF, you know, growing up. But as time goes on, if you notice, you don't necessarily notice the transition as to like who it is that you're talking to. Even if that is the same person, everybody changes. So we need to talk about that. We really need to bring some type of spotlight on that, because the dependency we see in others, I think honestly we need to be sure that we also see it in ourselves. And a lot of times over, we find ourselves in these positions where we feel as if like if we don't have anyone to talk to, we feel like we're going to explode, or, you know, the worst can happen, God forbid. At the same time, I'm not necessarily a person that's going to sit here and say that I, at one time, wasn't in that mindset where I feel as if like I could depend on myself to be my own rock. And like I like to say sometimes, fill my own cup. I had to really learn that. And sometimes when it comes to you having to pick yourself back up, it doesn't really, you don't necessarily need to be dependent on someone else, but it doesn't hurt to have that encouragement. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about friend, you hear my shoes. When we talk about friends and partners, you have to make sure. For me, I always like to make sure that there's some type of equilibrium. There's some type of equilibrium and respect there where there's a boundary. I've done a video on that multiple times. There is a boundary that both sides know of and both mutually agree not to cross. Sometimes that's very hard for certain people because they're used to having options. It's easy having options when you know that you have access. But when that access is cut off, and now it's to a point where, like, hey, God forbid, you're in a position where, you can't help yourself, like for the bigger picture, but it's more or less like it's this small thing I need to be able to get to help me get me to the next spot, to the next season, to the next chapter. Even if it's just like a quick, like, highway emergency. There's a difference between you calling someone who just want to hear your gossip and you calling someone who wants to actually be there and pick you up. No problem. So we need to talk about differences between between friends and partners. Friends, they're always got a quick ear to give you. Friends are always quick to give you advice. But what's the difference between advice and wisdom? I think wisdom really comes from a place of someone actually being in that position to help you understand before you move along on this journey, before you move along on that avenue, that freeway, that expressway. It can come with many things. You feel me? If you don't want to go through the city and be more mindful of your surroundings, you decide to get on the interstate and your ass haul off and got to pay attention to everything else. Yeah, you gonna feel paranoid. If you're not used to those type of surroundings, if you're not used to that much involvement that it takes for you to be able to still get to point A to point B, of course, it's going to be confusing. It has no other choice to, because you decided to lessen your caution and bring in more havoc. So, what do you think your definition of someone being a friend and someone being a partner? The biggest thing that I've realized so far is the fact of someone being dependable is a huge characteristic. You know what I'm saying? There's no point in there being a union if there's not going to be an equilibrium of dependency. Because again, it's almost like you giving to them, but they're not giving to you. So what are you gaining? With a life partner, you gain. With a friend, you share. That's really point blank period. So, be sure that y'all like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell down below. Let me know what y'all think about this hairpiece. I brought this out of retirement, feels like, but I like it. It's the fall. And, I like to switch it up sometimes. But nonetheless, be sure you head over to esteemedmentality.com. Hit that notification bell. While you're at it, be sure that you go out and vote so they can stop ringing folks' doorbell. Please, 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 please understand. I don't really care who wins, because my biggest thing is this: God has been my main president for the last 6 years, and I've come a long way with his help. So therefore, I care about who goes in office. I pray, hope, and wish that whoever goes in office, God rebukes anything that's not supposed to be of his image, and they do correctly, regardless if that means they got to be on the front line against what it is that, we have very, very limited days to appreciate. because evil is out there. I'm trying to tell you something. If you govern yourself accordingly, you don't need nobody trying to speak for you. If you don't like someone else trying to talk about you and talk for you, why would we let someone, quote unquote, that's a leader carry us? But you know what? I'm going to keep my opinions to myself. And I just want to wish that you all have a good day. Love and kiss on somebody, because y'all know that tomorrow is not promised. Be sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Go over to my secondary channel, The Vivid Dreamer, and I will see y'all soon in the Warrior community. Bye.
The depths of the media sees no evil. Buildings crashing 9/11, no sake for the people. Children take to everything, others willing to feel anything just to say they were there. Boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, domestic violence. Do you care? When the curtains close, your head hangs low. You're wishing someone was there. Just turn to me for relief. I know how you feel. I am you. You are me. We share symptoms of the black sheep. Aren't you aware?
This image, I remember howling winds, nights trying to hustle to 10 degrees, ash on my knuckles. Coke in my long john, sipping on a brisk. A tall glass of liquor, please, who get a sip of this? Coke in my long john, slave to the sin. Call me young coke there if the cops try to frisk. I may get a grip, I may get a grip. I may slapping 20s, lots of tails and some shrimp. I used to bump Wayne all day as a pimp, now I'm past Wayne Drake, I'm going in.